Awesome. We're here again. Welcome, guys. For those of you who are new here, my name is Samara on the Plat, and I create content that helps people. So let's get right into it. This video isn't going to be too long today, primarily because I already went over this on my TikTok channel or my TikTok page. TikTok page. So on TikTok, I went over understanding and regulating your nervous system. And it did very well there. I'm excited to share that information onto YouTube because for those of you that don't know, TikTok is all vertical content. The horizontal content, uh, it just it needs to go on to YouTube because that's the format of YouTube. So yeah, this is a summary of understanding the nervous system and then learning how to regulate the nervous system. All right. So what is the nervous system? The nervous system is the most important aspect of your existence. If you have a nervous system that is out of whack, unhealthy, like you're not going to be able to function. If you want to function at an optimal level, you're going to have a hard time doing that if your nervous system is not in check. A lot of the time, people find themselves in fight or flight. And when you are in fight or flight, that is that's a stress response. At every point of your life, your goal should be to maintain rest and digest. Resting and digesting means now your body can function correctly. Like there are voluntary parts and involuntary parts of your nervous system. And anytime your body doesn't feel safe, it goes into fight or flight. And when your body does feel safe, it's able to do its job calmly and focus on delivering the nutrients throughout your body, things like that. Now, I have some notes here, as per usual. Great. And with the notes, I want to keep it very simple. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I will address that in another video. You can also message me on TikTok through the comment section, preferably. All right, great. So God designed your nervous system to control everything that you do. We basically went over that. Next thing is there are parts that are voluntary and there are parts of your nervous system that are involuntary. A lot of what we can control is dictated by the CNS and then there's the PNS. And forgetting all those technical terms, the bottom line is voluntary is talking, voluntary is walking, involuntary is your digestion, involuntary is breathing. And when you have a healthy nervous system, everything just moves with a level of confidence and peace. So stress and your environment, all of those things can dictate how your involuntary system works because although you can't tell your body, hey, go ahead and breathe right now, like at every point, because involuntary would basically mean that if you don't tell your body to do it, it doesn't do it. Your body will breathe as long as everything is calm within that system. It will do its job. Voluntary, you have to actually get up and walk, right? So your nervous system is mainly influenced by your environment. You guys probably already guessed this. If you are in a stressful environment, then Samara, how do you expect me to stay in rest and digest? That's the challenge. That's the real work. And because your environment is the main source of your nervous system's reaction to life, you have to, as an adult, because as children we don't really have much of a say, but once you become an adult, it is your responsibility to put yourself in environments that keep your nervous system in a desired state. So if you're in a relationship, and that relationship is not making you feel calm, making you feel relaxed, yes, there's something that you have to change, but recognizing your triggers will help you put everything in check. If, let's say, you just blame yourself, like let's say you're a people pleaser, you're going to consistently put your body in a state of fight or flight and find yourself your health deteriorating, because after a certain point, you really have to ask yourself, is it worth it to continue to people please your way through situations that cause you stress? It's not worth it. Too many people are passing away at a young age. Too many people reach an old age and have so many regrets. The simplest thing for you to do, and I'm giving you, take this as a sign of permission or, strength to go ahead and do it. If your environment, whether it's a relationship or a neighborhood or a job, is throwing you into fight or flight, it's time to change it. Do not hold on for any longer. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, because your nervous system needs you, is depending on you to change that so that it can go back into rest and digest. All right? So regulating, if you haven't already figured that out, is about maintaining a desired state. How do you determine your desired state? Number one, rest and digest is the desired state. Number two, who do you want to show up as in your life? What are your desires? God can deliver when you have made decisions, when you have made decisions that benefit your nervous system. God can only deliver when you do that. When you are in fight or flight, quite often you find yourself with a very bad disease, all those things that after a certain point, you're basically telling God, like, listen, I don't really care about this body. I don't care about this life that you blessed me with. I'm not caring for it. It's like, think of your life as a baby. You're gifted a baby, a healthy child that is present and just so full of joy. Why would you take that baby and put that baby in a harmful environment? Now, if you wouldn't do that to your baby because you love your baby, then don't do that to yourself either. So when we come down to regulating our nervous system and making sure that we're keeping it in a good place, God can deliver. A lot of people, this might be a challenging thing to comprehend and adopt, because there's so many of us that are still within that perspective of, if I show up enough times, even when I'm exhausted, even when I'm stressed out, I'm eventually going to see success. Most successful people who have shared their stories explain that is a trap. Doing the work doesn't mean that you're killing yourself in the process. Doing the work means providing a service to as many people, or conducting yourself in a manner for enough time that people rewarded you with it, or for it, with currency or with promotion. And there are many people that don't see a promotion that behave the way that I just described, which is, I'm gonna stick to hustle culture, I'm gonna deteriorate. And burnout is the number one reason, because eventually your nervous system will crash out. It was never designed to stay in fight or flight. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. So yeah, regulating is about maintaining a desired state. Ask yourself, who do you want to show up as in your life? Write it down. On this channel, we talk about journaling all the time. I actually launched a journaling club, and I'll give you guys the details to that in another video because I want to stay on topic. But journal, who do you want to show up as in your life? And when you journal that, you write that down, you have to audit your current state and ask yourself, okay, what's helping? And the number one thing that you have to address is your environment. Paint a picture through words of your environment. I go here, I do this, I see this, I smell this, and start listing all of those aspects within the version of you that you'd want to become. And then we're just going to collapse it and make sure that we do what's necessary to get there. That's how you change your life in a way that protects what God has already given you. Okay? Moving on. Now we're just going to talk about regulating the nervous system. I wanted to give you guys a bit of a background without going into too much detail. Again, you can go to my TikTok if you want a full breakdown of all of these different components. You want the technological terms, I did a really great job of that on my TikTok, and my TikTok name is Samara on the Plat, just like on YouTube. So, number one, eliminate projects that do not align. I said change your environment, but we have to really understand that in more detail. When and I'll tell you my story, when I saw that, do I want to share that story? I have to be very careful about what stories I share here, simply because I don't want to regret sharing something with you guys. I want to be transparent and tell you guys the truth, and at the same time walk away from the situation like, I'm so happy I shared that with you guys. So I'll give you as much as is necessary to share without going overboard. So yesterday I had a situation that I was dealing with, and at that point I was really disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to do something I planned to do earlier. And we find ourselves in these types of situations when we're holding on to parts of our existence that don't align with who we really want to become, because somebody told us it was a good idea, because maybe at some point it seemed like a cool idea, but it didn't align. We didn't check if it aligned. So I was sitting down disappointed, dealing with my situation, and eventually I just got really emotional and I broke down. And of course I prayed. I spoke with God and I said, why, like, not even why, I wasn't angry with God, but I was like, okay, did I do something wrong? Is God angry with me? And eventually the instruction came to me, and the instruction aligned with the version of me I wanted to be, not the version of me that I kept showing up as because it was comfortable. I hope that makes sense, because I don't want to get into too much detail, but let's put it this way. If you're someone who, whenever you're stressed out, you call the same friends, and this is not the situation, but giving you an example, you call the same friends, you go to the liquor store, you get alcohol, you drink it when you're, home watching a show. If that's who you've shown up as because it's been comfortable for you to do that, it numbs the pain. But the version of you that you have written down and really desire to become is someone that doesn't do that. You have to stay away from what's comfortable and go into what would the version of Samara, or yourself, insert your name here, what would the version of me who has these things do in this situation? And it seems simple, but it really comes down to being aware and intentional, because you can find yourself so stuck in self-pity and a level of disbelief that it's even possible for you to accomplish your dreams. And the moment you're there, just remind yourself, especially seeing as you're here watching this video, I'm a child of God. God put me here as an opportunity, or to enjoy the opportunities that I can be blessed with, and to become a testimony of his greatness. All of that is supported within the Bible. Go read it if you doubt what I'm saying. However, yes, my life is a blessing. My life is not a curse. My life is a blessing. How can I show God that I'm grateful for this life? Anytime you feel like I'm going to just go back to the comfortable route, I'm going to go home, I'm going to sulk, I'm going to go call a friend, or I'm going to go drink, or I'm going to go smoke, like I deserve that. That's just what I need at this point. Like, I've been there. You have to ask yourself in that moment, catch yourself in that moment. Only you can catch yourself. God is always going to send you signs, but you have to catch yourself. That's your job. That is your job, okay? That's the real work, not the struggle hustle. Like, you could go have a drink, you could go have a smoke, and these are things that people just understand, like, these are addictions, they're not good for you. You can do those things, but you can't do those things and accomplish your goals long term, because you're deteriorating your body in the process, especially your nervous system, which God designed to control everything you do. So yeah, in that situation, I had to eliminate what didn't align. And eliminating came down to, okay, Samara, Does the version of you that has all those things that you want do that? And I said, no, she does not. So what would the version of you that enjoys this type of reality do in this situation? And it was something scary to me to do, but it wasn't something illegal. It wasn't something that was gonna cheese God, because by reading his word, and it's so important that you study his word to find out like what works, what cheeses him, what doesn't. It wasn't gonna cheese God, so I ended up doing it. And right after, I saw a reward. And they call that inner work. They call that divine timing. I'm just talking about it as an example here of eliminating projects that do not align. And yeah. Number 2, your identity equals your current reality. How you see yourself matches what your reality is. If you see yourself, and not say it, but if you genuinely see yourself as someone who is talented, not someone who's waiting on other people to tell you, but you genuinely know of yourself, I'm talented, I am skilled, I am ambitious, I am those things, that will create a certain reality for you. Here's a scenario. If you're someone who is an and this is gonna trigger some of you guys. I already know because it triggered me too. I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a writer. I wrote down those aspects of me, but then I asked myself, okay, within the past week, what have I done that reflects that? Oh, I didn't do much. Like I might have written a song or two. Let's say you're a hairstylist, and you don't have clients right now. If you have clients, I can understand where you go days and you may not be like looking like you're a hairstylist, like your hair might be looking like a mess, right? But if you're a hairstylist and you identify as that, as such, and you don't have clients right now, but your hair always looks like a freaking mess, how is your reality going to change to someone who accomplishes having clients flowing? And let's say you have a poster child. Like, let's say there's someone that comes in and you just always have them looking like amazing and perfect. That's perfect. Like, that aligns with, oh, I'm an excellent hairstylist. But if you are lacking that, that's what you got to fix right then and there, because your identity, and your identity is tied to what you do when the day comes, who you show up as, right? Matches your reality. So your current reality is matched to who you've been. And if you no longer want this reality, you have to change who you've been. Your mom might have told you, I'm here to confirm it. Okay, anyways. Number 3, silence is your friend. We talk about isolation all the time because isolation is what sparked my new run of consistency. Like, I have a friend who came and said to me, like, Samara, you're showing up so often now. Like, I feel like you're posting a video every day. I'm actually not, but I am showing up more often than I was before. And that came from me being isolated, having a lot of time to myself, not being around any distractions. And I'm a mom of 3, and being a mom of 3 can be a distraction. However, the moments when I do get away from my children, I have to take full advantage of that. So it's either I make excuses or I make a change. So yeah, silence is your friend. That's when you can confidently take actions to fix your situation. And that's what I've been doing. And it's been working for me. I'm really excited about what comes next. And you guys are going to witness it in real life. So yeah, number 4, recognize when fight or flight is completely uncalled for. Limiting beliefs are ideas that tell you this is as far as you can go, or that tell you this negative thing is going to happen as a result of this. And unless you are happy with that outcome, then you have to challenge your limiting beliefs. For example, if I don't do X, this is definitely going to happen. Ask yourself, is this a limiting belief? Because if there are examples of people who didn't do that but got this, then maybe it's a limiting belief. And you have to do your research and find examples of people that contradict the limiting beliefs. And when you allow yourself to see that more often, you realize, yeah, there's such a thing as beliefs that maybe some people hold so near and dear to their heart, but are completely incorrect or outdated. And you have to make sure that at that point, you don't protect those limiting beliefs. Because when you protect those limited beliefs and adopt them, you put your body into fight or flight if you're in a situation that is within a limited belief. Like, for example, let's say if I eat more than, I don't know, maybe it's, I had to choose my words so carefully. I hope you guys understand. Like, this is my talking style. I don't know if I'll change, but at this very moment, I have to say, like, I'm going to choose my words extremely carefully because I don't want you to miss the message or get offended. But again, I feel like I'm going to reach a point where I don't care anymore. So you'll witness that again in real life on this channel if it comes, depending on how soon it comes. Anyhow, if you say to yourself, if I don't get this paid by this day, my life is over. Okay, is that really true? Is your life over, or is it going to be a challenge? And if that's the case, does that make you happy? Does that make you feel safe? We all have seen people who are homeless. We've all heard of people who came back from negative situations and made it 10 times better. It may not be ideal, but you're never done until God says you're done. If you still woke up the next day, you're not done. And if someone is like, your life is really being threatened, then that's not a situation we're talking about here. But unless your life is going to end, not because of you being tired of life, trigger warning, but unless your life is going to end, fight or flight is not called for. You might have been raised in a home where people told you if this doesn't happen, like you're nothing, and who shared limited beliefs with you. However, that is going to keep you back. That is going to keep your body in fight or flight, which damages your body. Your body needs to be in a state of rest and digest for it to function properly. Your nervous system controls everything you do. So imagine how many mistakes you're making in fight or flight, or because you're in fight or flight, because your body is nervous, because you're not getting enough sleep at night, because you're not putting nutrients in your body that help your system maintain rest and digest. You're sabotaging yourself every time you choose to accept the fight or flight mentality. So recognize that the only time fight or flight is really necessary is if you're going to die. If you're not going to die, there's no point of activating that type of energy, activating that type of response. And if you find yourself consistently going there, you need to take time for yourself and start implementing these things, regulating, taking stock of who you've been, because your identity matches your reality. And if you don't like your current reality, or if you find yourself in fight or flight too often, you gotta fix your reality. You gotta fix your identity. It starts with you. It starts with you. And point number 5 is recognize when rest and digest is needed. I'm not telling you to be a lazy bum. I'm not telling you that there won't be times where you are working. Rest and digest doesn't mean that you don't work. Rest and digest means you enjoy the process. And even if you don't love the process, you understand it's necessary so you don't feel anxiousness going through it. Here's a perfect example of this. I was in fight or flight right before I was forced to go into isolation. And being in fight or flight, I was pushing through, I was trying to get things done, and everything I did wasn't working because looking back now, there was the way I was going about it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't good for my health. It wasn't even being done correctly, because now, because I'm in this rest and digest state, I understand, oh, I should have just done that. Why did I even, what was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. Like, you drop IQ points when you're in survival mode. You're not as intelligent. If you're in survival mode, in that rest, in that fight or flight mentality, your creativity drops. You don't become more creative when you're in fight or flight. You become like very animalistic, and not the smart animals. It's the animals that are steps away from death. That's why God gave us that, the capacity for fight or flight, because at that point you just got to take whatever comes to mind at that moment, but it's not the most well thought out method. So yeah, there was a lot of moments that I reflect on now, and I'm like, well, that's why it didn't work, because that was a stupid way of going about it. And if I took some more time, I could have done this, I could have done that. And now, something as simple as creating YouTube videos, I went through, I'm embarrassed to say, I wouldn't even say it. I went through so much equipment. I won't tell you how many. I went through so much equipment. And the joke is, when I look back on the videos that did well, and when I say did well, I mean like got a lot of views, took me into like another 100 subscribers. At this point, I'm at, I think, about 1,800. So I'm really happy about that. Thank you for all of you that subscribed. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this video. Gotta put that in there. I recognize that it didn't take the best lighting. It didn't take the best anything, or even a new piece of equipment. It really just took me believing that I have what I have what it takes. Like, whatever God has given me, I have what it takes. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to make something that people find valuable. And it wouldn't have happened. All of those moments wouldn't have happened if I didn't get into my rest and digest. A lot of the fight or flight moments took me to, I gotta go, I can't make that video right now. I can't make that video. Let me go buy a new piece of equipment. Or I don't, this is not a good enough topic. Why am I even bothering? Like, put that away. Let me go do some more research. Let me go do this. And time was passing anyways. And I drifted and drifted and drifted, and the video didn't get done. My new identity, my new reality didn't come. And when you recognize, okay, Samara, or insert your name here, this is not feeling like rest and digest, no matter who might discourage you, no matter who has presented a limiting belief, and you will be able to catch limiting beliefs once you're spending enough time alone. Because if your brain, if God put it in your brain, put it in your heart to accomplish something, whatever God gives you, you got to use that to make it happen. If someone else is like, that's crazy, you'll be able to say, like, listen, you don't know how much conviction I have over this dream right now. I gotta give it a shot. They will project all types of beliefs, but it's your job. Like, it's your responsibility. Obedience is better and stronger in the sight of God than sacrifice. So always be obedient when that vision comes to you. So you'll be able to catch when people are projecting limiting beliefs. Take your time and understand that it doesn't always take a lot of time. It always comes down to your state of mind in doing the task and in transforming your life. That changes your life. If you're doing it with a worrisome heart, you're going to have worrisome results. If you're doing it with a peaceful heart, a rest and digest heart, then you're going to get rest and digest results. So at every point in your life, stay away from fight or flight. And hustle culture is basically fight or flight. And yeah, like, a lot of the time, these are things that are very simple, but we need that positive reinforcement, because without these manifestations that come in the form of videos like me, or that friend that's super positive, or a life situation or a sign, whatever it is, that remind us, hey, you came here with a purpose. You came here to be all you could be, not just to get by. So let's tap in. Let's get back into this from a perspective of someone who wants to be intentional, right? Anyhow, it has been 30 minutes and I'm so happy that I finally got this video posted. I was supposed to post it yesterday. And yeah, we did it. Yay! Okay, so if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Samara on the Plat on YouTube, and check me out on TikTok. That's where I will always be posting first because I love TikTok. I love YouTube too, but TikTok has won my heart as well. Dilemma. Anyhow, thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.